President Rodrigo Duterte is open to imposing stricter lockdowns amid the growing threat of the Delta variant. This as health experts say the number of vaccinated Filipinos is still far too low to prevent another surge. Mobile journalist Jacob Lazaro gives us a front seat to the story.
In his last State of the Nation address before Congress, President Duterte raised the possibility of returning to last year's very strict lockdown in response to the growing threat of the more infectious Delta variant.
This is as good as any other time to say it. If says that it is really dangerous, you have to go back to lockdown. If there are many people in other parts of the world killing as many than Delta, if ever it will spread, we have it here now. I hope it will not go any further. But if something wrong happens, I'll have to be strict. And I have now my word that there will be just like what happened in the early days.
The country had gone back into lockdowns earlier this year because of a recent surge in COVID-19 infections, but not the same degree as last year's lockdowns which crippled the economy. But this time the president said he was open to bringing those lockdowns back as government struggles with the rising number of Delta variant cases. Over the weekend, the country tallied 54 more cases of the Delta variant, said to be much more infectious than the original variants that caused milder lockdowns in March this year. In his son's speech, the president at times sounded almost resigned to a coming surge because of the Delta variant.
And if it requires a new vaccine, we do not have it yet. I don't know what, maybe we'll just have to pray for salvation. Sabihin natin, Diyos, we have done everything, but this time we are really put hard on these things that happen.
The Octa Research Group, which has been tracking the growth of COVID-19 cases, points out that an early lockdown would be a better pill to swallow than a late lockdown.
An early lockdown is a short lockdown. A late lockdown is a long lockdown. So I'll be honest with you, the government lost control of the pandemic in March and April. I just know that everything was overwhelmed. The contact tracing was overwhelmed. The testing was overwhelmed. The hospitals were overwhelmed.
The research group says Metro Manila is already in the early stages of another surge and agrees that a lockdown is inevitable in the coming weeks. Austriaco says while lockdowns may be necessary, they must also be tweaked in order to really work.
There have been two weaknesses I've observed with lockdowns in the Philippines. One, at times it has been slow. And second, there has not been a financial support of the lockdown.
As of today, 17 million Filipinos have been vaccinated, still far from the 70 million target for herd immunity. Though health experts say this number is still too low to prevent a surge, Father Austriaco says he is impressed with our vaccine rollouts.
And I have been incredibly impressed with the professionalism of the rollout in spite of severe shortage of vaccines.
But during his SONA, the president expressed his disappointment and frustration over some vaccine rollouts undertaken by LGUs. The president singled out a recent vaccination that was done in the midst of floodwaters.
There's already a gymnasium. Mga eskwelahan, walang klase ngayon. Bakit hindi mo gamitin doon? Bakit magkakanap ng isang
Still, the president remains optimistic that vaccination numbers will shoot up next month, with some 7 million Filipinos getting fully vaccinated by August.
That is why I implore our countrymen who are now in the list of sectors to be inoculated to get vaccinated now. And to those who received the first doses, please return for your second shot.
I'm Jacob Lazaro and we are One News.